So we had a very strange occurrence happen in London, England today. And I wasn't going to make a video about this, but something about it symbolically jumped out at me. And the picture of this event sort of ties in to the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse in Revelation. So, yeah, that's pretty heavy, right? But hey, wasn't going to make it, but it's 2024. I'm going to go ahead and just spill the beans on this one and tell you what I think. So, earlier today, somewhere near Buckingham Palace, we have these royal guards and their horses. And apparently there was some type of load of concrete, I think they said, being dislodged or unloaded from a building that fell. And when it fell, it spooked several of the horses. Now, this is where it starts to get a little weird. They said 5 of the horses that were nearby heard this clang, this big, huge boom. This is a rare thing. They're trained thoroughly not to react to this type of stuff. So that's strange in and of itself. But we're all familiar with the picture of the Four Horsemen. But in Revelation, there are actually 5. And Christ is supposed to be the 5th one. So, technically speaking, there are 5 horsemen of the apocalypse. Christ being the 5th. 5 men during this event were dislodged from the horses, and 5 ran away. And three of them were caught within, I don't know, maybe a few hundred feet of where they were spooked and they ran off. But 2 of them made it about 5 miles away. And this is kind of crazy. This is, if you're skittish about blood and harm to animals, then you might not want to look at this too closely. But when the 2 of them made their way, still sort of running down the street and making their way away down, downtown London, they were wrecking into cabs and I think one ran into a bus and ran into the glass. And of course, it started to bleed, the white one. So we have this image of these 2 horses galloping down the street. One's black, one's white, and the white one being half covered in blood. And I just want to go over what the colors of these 4 horsemen are. The first 3 of the 4 horsemen. Okay. The first one is white, and that one represents conquest. And the second was red for war. And the black represented pestilence or famine, disease. And we have the pale horse, which many scholars, Bible nerds say that is pale, meaning more green. So, but this image, I heard that 5 men were dislodged from these horses. And then I hear that 2 of them made their way 5 miles away, still running down, downtown London. And you have this image of them running, and the black and the white. And the white one is basically half red, which was just strange to me. I mean, the poor animal was obviously injured, but the image just struck me because the first, we have the white and then the red and then the black that are supposed to come. So we have, conquest. This type of stuff is supposed to happen in the end times, and then we have the red, which is for war, and then the black for pestilence and disease. So it just, I know there were only 2, but it just felt like, I think the white might have been running ahead of the black as well. So it just, this image just popped out to me, and I couldn't go without speaking on this. Something I also noticed was that this image looks uncannily similar to the Chariot card in the tarot deck. When drawn upright, it represents victory, overcoming obstacles, control, and ambition, among other things. But if you look at the image of these animals running down the street, that's effectively gone viral at this point, it's a reverse of what's on the card's image. The white horse is on the left, black on the right. This inversion is accounted for in the tarot system, aka the card being drawn upside down, as the polar opposite. So instead of overcoming, persevering, the reverse card image is correlated with lack of direction, lack of self-control, powerlessness, aggression, and being blocked by obstacles. This is interesting considering the recent passing of the Queen and Charles coming out with his cancer diagnosis, along with his daughter-in-law Kate's diagnosis. It's a very strange breaking of centuries of tradition of portraying the monarch in power as this infallible thing, God's blessed representative on earth. And preserving that image would to such an extent in the past as to hide or even institutionalize members of the family with, less than desirable traits. And if a king or a queen showed signs of health decline, these things were kept secret. And if it wasn't possible to keep them secret, they were immediately deposed and replaced. So why now are they making a public spectacle of Charles's disease? I delve more into this in this video above. We're getting a little out of hand with all the theories, and it's just, maybe it's by design. There's a lot of conspiracy theories running around, and it's exhausting. And this is, I think that's by design as well, because I think they're going to beat some of these into the ground to where at some point nobody's going to be listening to it. This sort of trend of people actually paying attention to Bible prophecy in general, it's just going to fade away. People are going to get sick of hearing it. And I have in the sense that I'm just tired of hearing all of these theories that contradict each other and just say things that just aren't constructive at all. And it has everybody at each other's throats. All these truthers are at each other's throats. These different factions of Christianity are at each other's throats. It's just exhausting. It feels like a tremendous waste of energy. And, I think that we're meant to look into this stuff as individuals and come up with an accurate picture that we believe in and have these debates with each other, but have constructive debates. But that's not what I'm seeing, the majority of the time. What I'm really seeing is just people having these hateful, disgusting interactions. And if you disagree with them, or if you don't subscribe to their theory about salvation, or what prophet is supposed to, what event in Revelation is supposed to come before this one? Is there a rapture? Is there not a rapture? Is it pre-trib? This, that. I'm so sick of it. And the biggest thing is how other Christians are treating their own brothers and sisters over petty, stupid little differences. And if you don't believe exactly what they do in detail, then you're to them, you're lost. You can't be saved. You're damned. It's not constructive at all. But yeah, this symbol, there was just something that I saw when I saw this. Maybe it was the white horse. You see the black, it's closer to the camera in some of these videos, but when the white one ran by, I just saw how much, a little graphic, but how much blood was covering this horse. It just looked red. A lot of its body was covered in red, so it just looks like the first three horsemen are sort of covered symbolically here, and they're the first three. We don't have the pale horse yet, but the pale horse doesn't come later. And, of course, I mentioned that there were 5 total. Christ is supposed to be the 5th one, and 5 men were dehorsed in this event that happened. This thing that spooked the horses, which is rare in itself. They say they rarely do this. They're trained not to react to this stuff. So just this image is just, tell me what you think. There's something about this image of these things running down the street, and I think we all are aware of the Four Horsemen motif and everything, but something just compelled me to speak on this. So let me know what you think. I'll have some more stuff coming up soon, so I will talk to you all very, very soon.